And look at your hands. Are you carrying anything?
Not at this moment, I don't.
Do you have any jewelry or ornamentation on your hands?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
On my thumb, there is a obelisk symbol, as you would define as being the structure of a form of structures that are built here. That is to open up certain doorways and gateways. It's made of the metal of gold, of the gold ornament. And on my middle finger, I have a talisman that I use, and it is structured in circles like the serpentine structure to get the flow of current and energies in the pyramids to start moving properly. And that is the two pieces that I have on for today.
Okay. And are you wearing anything on your head?
No, my head is free. My hair is down, and I have nothing on my head at this moment.
Okay.
Not wearing my normal headdress.
Are you male or female?
I am feminine, an embodiment in this plane.
Okay. Are you old or young?
I am young in intelligence, older in physical body.
Okay. All right. Look around. Do you see anything else around you? Are there any structures or anything?
Yes, there are many people who are walking and they are doing tasks of daily life. And the structures that I am around are considered the city of Egypt. And I have just exited the pyramid of light that we are constructing here for this physical planet that needs the circulation of energy to keep them in form and also to keep planetary galactic origins connected to every remembrance when the time is appropriate for each individual to come into a more greater understanding of themselves.
Okay. So can you see the pyramids from where you're standing?
Yes, they are always located in my visceral way to telepathically see images.
Okay.
I am always monitoring them, but in physicality, I am standing before the first one we are building, which is behind me at this moment to my left.
Okay. And how far along is the construction?
It's quite slower than we anticipated. The elements of air here make the energy that we are building it from very difficult to come together. Challenging, but it is coming along. We are in our 160th year at this point, would be the numerical conceptualization of time.
Okay. And how are you said the air is inhibiting your creation of these things. What does the air have to do with the stones?
The air here is what is helping the stones move into the correct positions to align the energy that is required to hold in the stones. We are utilizing the air element to bring forth what humans are used to operating under, the gravitational forces. But the air isn't necessarily responding well to the energy we have put in the stones, as we could say a memory base of energy to be able to access within the constructs of the mind that has been created to activate the body and remembrance of light that is within every inhabitant.
Okay. So where are these stones coming from?
We have used accumulation of the earth, sand, and we have used the accumulation of other elements that are not here, that are located in the plasmic light that is referred to as creational energy. We have brought into this physical plane and we have put it all together in the earth element that comes from the earth planet.
So I understand that you're creating these stones out of thin air, basically?
Yes, we are. They look like they come from here, but they are constructed with two different atmospheric bases that allow the two universes of non-form and form to collide.
Okay. And if a scientist on Earth were to look at these stones, do they just look like rocks, or is there something special about them?
Indeed, the technology now cannot monitor and cannot intercept the higher frequency of the other spectrums of light fields that exist within the spherical rotations that are in the stones that would be very evidential. It does not exist here as an element on Earth. But to those who have activated the technology of the eyes of unlimitedness will be able to see that they are moving elements of light that are not from this planet. And there is devices that are coming here that are going to be able to measure and see this. But at this time, we perceived always that the human body would be the first analyzer to see and recognize this.
Okay, so the general population that are living around these pyramids as they're being constructed, what is their experience as they watch this occur? Lead me through the process of making one of these bricks and putting it into place. What happens to make that occur?
Yes, they are constructing and assisting with the aspect of bringing the earth and constructing the stones, but they are not aware of the extra energy of other elements that are going into the stones, of living consciousness from other galaxies. They are assisting with creating the structure of them, but no more than that. They bring them into the pyramids, and at the particular times of day where resting is happening, we are walking into these spaces to bring forth the elements that come from other ethereal forms, and other life forms are coming here, and consciousnesses, and we are infusing the energy through what we would refer to as the bodies of photonic light that we are constructed from into each of these stones. They were never able to see this and were not aware of this. There were only 6 of us that were part of this construction for all of these pyramids that exist here.
And when did you 6 come to Earth?
We have been here since the very beginning in origin, but we weren't in bodies. When Earth first decided to spherically allow herself to come into a physical humanitarian place from a construct of consciousness, we started to come here to assist with growing and fertilizing the lands with the architecture of how it would be formulated and built, similar to a game you call Sims. Therefore, we moved around and we studied the ecosystem and the structure of the planet and what would keep everything into in harmony with one another. And we kept coming back and form and form and form until the first human species embodiment was developed. And that is the beginning of when we started coming in physicality to be recognized, but we were here in simply energy first, in rotations of light.
Okay. And where are you six from?
We are from the first photonic light of the source quasi energy that extends throughout the universe of time and space. We are the first fractalization of what we would call the energy of all creation, the one, the one light that has broken up itself into many forms in light. We are that, and we are that.
Okay. Does the term galactic consciousness resonate? Does that sound like appropriate?
Yes, yes, but we would be the preceding first sprout of that galactic consciousness origin. That would be accurate in terms to still identify the identity. It still holds even the galactic constructs were not created yet. So we are the first light before the galactic consciousness was created. It's the same, though. It's the same.
Okay. All right. So, should we continue in the lifetime or do we want to just move from here? Because clearly we're bouncing between the lifetime and a higher awareness.
We can move forward. We want to extend space here because she has had time in these pyramids and memories, and we wanted to give her the understanding of her memories to see and to recognize and to not omit from her presence in reality now, for it is very important to recognize the origins of how life was constructed here.
Okay. So, let's move forward just a little bit to where the first pyramid has just been finished. And now you're there. Tell me about that.
It's quite smaller than we thought it would be. It's really small than what we thought it would be. We are happy with the amount of range it can send a signal, and it can be a receiver and it could be a transmuter of energy. We are happy with the range it extends out to on this planet and globe, and it assists with bringing all of the other pyramids that are existing upon this planet to assist with and life inhabitant to stay here. We are happy with its receptor signals and its ability to transmit data from one pyramid to another, so that the whole entire globe is keeping this body of form to exist in form together for gravitational forces and also for the light within every body that has form to be able to be withheld. These are very important, and we still observe our own constructions and see where there can always have been improvements, and we simply believe that they are smaller than what they should have been.
Okay. So, if you would walk us through the process of how the pyramid attracts this energy you're speaking of and how it transmits the energy out and what that effect has on the earth and its inhabitants, please.
Yes, very similar to the antennas that are here upon planet Earth. So this is where the idea came from. The antennas that hold the telephone cords or that hold the electricity that transmits from one range to another range to be accessible for all beings and all existences here to utilize and to receive as like data. It is very similar. The human body and the way that it is built is a transmuter of information, of light, and of data that exists across the whole entire planet to be able to have a experience of interaction and an experience of of a simulation of existence. And this very transmission of energy is what keeps the whole entire field of experience into existence here. For without it, it makes the existence collapse, and therefore it becomes nothing, and the experience cannot be perceived through the data of the body. Through the body, there exists a consciousness outside of the individual consciousness within that holds the experiences that are in this field. This is what is important to her and to all to recognize is what is giving the experience and what is being remapped within the individual body to be remapped to this original grid, we can say, this original grid of formation.
And what is the quickest and most appropriate way to remap to this original grid? How do we do that?
By attuning, by coming back to the consciousness of all light, the galactic consciousness, for it maps out everything back online, because all of these grid lines holds this galactic consciousness of where everything originates from. So when that is awakened within the remembrance of oneness and the awareness of the space of non-localized experience that brings all life together, it then coordinates and correlates, sends off signals to these interceptors that readjust and realign this correct mapping of intelligence that exists around the globe, that gives the experience in a way from a non-judgmental way, is that, and a from a non-judgmental way and from a harmonic place that is in synchrony to all of experience in life versus taking away the experience in a negative format and way that repeats cycles. The repeating of cycles happens due to this not being able to tune into the galactic consciousness here in these grid lines for the human body to have an experience that is organic to its structure of its natural light, but in the human body to have an experience of not receiving the fullness of that light to create the own individual experience.
Okay, so assume you're a human listening to this recording. How does that feel? What should they be looking for when they're trying to reconnect to the grid and the galactic consciousness to remap and break out of the repeating cycle?
They should be looking for the repeated patterns. It would be called here on Earth, the deja vu moments, or the repeated moments that keep happening and happening, that one keeps having to experience. This is not normal in this plane. That is a disruption in the connection to the galactic consciousness we refer to, the galactic consciousness that exists, that holds the essence of oneness, of purity, and of ultimately love. These repeated patterns and cycles that are not being understood are a disruption in being able to feel the energy networks that exist and are necessary on this planet to have the human experience, but not to become the human experiment of an outside force that would want to see the human experience go bad.
Is there such a thing? Is an outside force wanting to do that to humans?
It is the force of the humans, and yet it still is an outside force that was created by humans, that therefore allows the outside forces that can permeate on their very creations that they are creating within the spectrums of their simplified experience that is limited.
Okay, so how do we break free of all of that? You said to connect to the grid and the galactic consciousness. What does that feel like when we do that? Do we do that in meditation? Is that what?
Meditation assists tremendously as it brings one into the non-physical state of what they've been experiencing for most of their lives being here, which is not having the essence of this true transference light that does never get stuck. It constantly moves. And the light here that is operating on this planet is getting stuck, and it is not becoming a transference of energy. It's becoming a looping cycle of energies. Meditation assists with recognizing those patterns, those spaces, to bring you back into the essence of the space that you exist as all humans exist as. It gets the comfortability with becoming this space, but still occupying this space within the body. And when there is a comfortability with that, there will be a recognition of that there are points within the body, often called to chakras, that will start to attune to these energy centers that we have created on this planet that were necessary to be implanted here. And once those are cycling, moving properly and rotating at their proper original speed to keep the light moving and not staying stuck, then the body will respond to the consciousness, and the consciousness will automatically ingrain the essence of completion within every soul body inhabiting a human vessel. And then that will completion energy will allow the soul to come online to their own individual consciousness as a galactic consciousness in the universe, and their own purpose for being here in this small universe of consciousness of Earth. And then the energy can properly be distributed to each individual as it should have always been, and then the proper movement to destroying what needs to be removed from this planet, and then moving towards the direction of what needs to be brought forth in solutions and in new ways of living and life can be brought forth.
Okay, so that was a lot, and I'm just going to unpack it a little bit. You're saying that the chakras within the human body all need to be aligned and in proper rotation so that the light can flow through the body. And at that point, it begins to illuminate the consciousness, and the consciousness can move forward and connect to the grid lines and the proper purpose of ascension on this planet. Did that sum it up pretty quick?
Yes, it's very well done summary.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, what is it that's not supposed to exist here on this planet? Because you said that, and what is that that's not supposed to exist here?
The constructs of the negative polarity is at an all-time high, and that is the construct that should not exist. It's not just a consciousness, you could think of it and see it as air. It is a new air particle that has been distributed within the field of the ecosystem here that many are breathing, and they are ingesting into their lungs, into their hearts, into their minds and their bodies. And that is essentially what we are assisting each individual consciousness to recognize so that they can eliminate that.
Okay. And that's through the meditation and the clearing of the chakras?
Yes, but it's also through a recognition of non-separation. For the human experience is one big experience and an experiment. And there's still too much separation. And although there's a singularity eye for experience, there's too much separation from the experiences that all are sharing, that are offering the adjustments of energy to connect to the central nodes that turn on to the galactic consciousness that exists within these sites that help the body recalibrate back to the original consciousness that exists with no delineation and separation, delineation in awareness of self, an awareness of life, and an awareness of purpose, and an awareness of love.
Okay. So, you talk about being the initial six that came to the earth to help with its moving forward and its ascension. How many consciousnesses are there here now that are assisting with the ascension of earth into the proper timeline?
There are 12.
Okay. And does that number have any significance?
Yes.
Okay.
These 12 hold within them. You are one. She is one. These 12 hold the original photonic light that comes into every existence and form and inhabitant. Every essence of every being holds that, but not every essence of every being can actually attune to that energy. These 12 hold the possibility and capability to do that and to bring that upon this planet Earth at this time.
And how are these 12 going to do that?
Through the remembrance of the memories in which have been intentionally implanted into this earth to reunite everyone when the time came. For the time was always here that would take place. It just simply was the human experience of deciding when it would take place.
Okay.
So
And are you talking about the event or the shift when you say taking place?
yes,
Okay. Do you have any idea when that's supposed to happen?
we are striving for the completion of so much destruction to be finally cyclized over in 2056. And it is still shifting, but that is what we are estimating when it should be complete with the final stages.
Okay. You said destruction. What is there going to be some kind of destruction associated with this shift?
No, it's a rebirth of energy, a rebirth of energy. For some humans, they will consider it to be a destruction for their existence as an existent truth, but it will be really a recycling, restructuring, words, a restructuring, a rebirth, a rebirth.
Okay. And is that where the fourth density lands on Earth at that time?
Yes, indeed.
And what is that going to look like? If you want to just maybe give us a little preview of what fourth density is going to look like after this shift in 2056.
Consciousness will be operating in entirety online to be within every experience. There will be no confusion and no doubt. There will be the energy of communication with skin to skin, eyes to eyes, mouth to mouth, and in experience to experience. There will be a understanding and an understanding that will happen between experiences of souls, experiences of negative polarity that is being reduced still. And there will be a seeing of different spectrums of other lights of not just energy, but consciousness that will become aware within this density. For the collective will hold it all so that it can be participated and experienced as one. This will be a time where the shift will automatically cause certain repeated loops that have been keeping the human collective in the densities of shame, confusion, doubt, and mistrust. Those will fall away. They will not exist in the template at all as an operational system. And the element essentially of separation and entirety of experiences will really completely be eradicated. And it will still be a slow transition, but it will be an acceptance that the experiences of density, um, that the experiences of density hold for each individual to evolve, that will no longer be needed and it will be accepted.
Okay. So, we can look around now and see a lot of consciousnesses that are still embracing negativity and a lot of it. What's going to happen to them when this shift occurs?
Yes, their photons and their matter will start to speed up because the outside atmosphere will support that in majority, for majority of the consciousness will have activated that within this field. And they will start to have to either transition and return back to the origin of where they come and exist as in light, or they will have to change and shift in their patterns and their relative existence and their density and their way of seeing, operating, believing, existing, and doing upon this planet.
Okay. So, let's back up and talk about the 12 that you said that are here right now. What should they be doing to facilitate this shift?
Moving out the way. They are often still operating still in the individual perspective of being human, which is necessary, but they are every human being here, and every human being here is able to attune to the energy of what they are through them. So they need to move out the way because this consciousness is necessary to really restore the balance back here as it was originally meant to be. We believe that the individualized experiment was an experience, but it is often on the earth plane in this density one of the miscalculated experiments.
Okay. So when you say move out of the way, what are you talking about? You talking about the ego? You talking about what?
Move out of the way of the human fears and collective's perspective of what they believe is possible. Move that construct out of the way and move out of the way of the ego. But the ego will always be calibrated back to galactic consciousness. That isn't much of an issue and a concern. It's a tickle of a feather. Or would we say move out the way? We mean move out of the way of what they believe they need to be, how they need to be existing and what they need to be doing based on what was previously done and what was previously constructed. This is a different shift. This is a different time. This is new. And we are bringing forth new, complete existence here, bodies, consciousness, form, existence, ways of operating and being, color spectrums, everything is new. It will come through them at first in order to initiate others to do the same. So they need to get out of the way of what has already been constructed, and the models that were put forth were models of old existences based on the density that the existence was operating under and understood. That is no longer applicable in this case because the shift of density is completely being removed and is no longer needed to be in a human embodiment here on this planet. So the previous models of operation, of being, of teaching, of understanding, of teaching, we shall say, teaching, needs to be reconformed, reconstructed, and new buildings of understanding consciousness, of bringing consciousness forth, and of making sure that consciousness can continue to move forward without the constructs of density is needed.
Okay.